we have a really great show planned for you today. And I know that there's someone listening live or via recording. Whenever you're listening to this, you need to hear Charlotte's story. And I believe that. I say that to when my guests come on, that there's no accident. And that when we have certain guests on, there's someone that's needing to hear something to get them either off their butt into action, feel like and hear like they're not alone, whatever that is. This show is for you. I do want to say I've had so many amazing conversations over this past year. Charlotte, we're celebrating a year this month of the show.
Ooh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I was so scared. It was September of 2021 when I was approached by Voice America to think about having a show. And a podcast was always on my list. And I remember going, this is it. This is it. I'm going to go for it. And we haven't looked back, and we just keep growing and keep evolving as a show. And I'm so grateful that you're my guest today. I have so many questions for you. Yeah.
I'm ready for it. And it's just amazing that you move forward with your podcasting and such an amazing network to be a part of as well.
Agreed. So before we dive in, for those of you who are new to listening to Real Money, to get to know me as your host, Lisa Chastain, I am on a mission for women, all women, to become the financial leaders of their lives. And I had this really powerful conversation with a good friend of mine, Indy, yesterday. And we were talking about all the things that are going on in the world today and what we can do about it. Like what one person, one mom, one business owner can do. And of course, we can't do it all. And in my heart, what I believe, and Charlotte, us having this conversation today too, what I truly believe is that as we forward women financially in their businesses, as authors, as powerful humans, the more we become the financial leaders of the world, I believe that we'll come together and we'll make this world a more powerful, healthier place and better place for all of us to live. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. I agree.
So let's dive in. Let's talk about you.
Awesome. Well, I'm Charlotte Howard Collins. I am happily married to the love of my life. I am a mom of 4 beautiful children, 2 boys, 2 girls. I am a female business growth expert who teaches women how to successfully and profitably build their business using the power of publishing in a nutshell. And I come from the beauty industry background. I used to work in corporate, and for over 2 decades, I was able to then take my passion, that I'm passionate about in the industry, and really hearing all of these amazing stories from the women when I was in the salon, just take those stories and then get that and actually put it into a real business. And now with publishing, that's what I do, really helping women to take what they're passionate about and what they are dreaming about and turn it into a profitable and successful business in a nutshell.
We're going to dive into what that really means on a regular basis. And thank you so
Yes.
much for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did read your story. So Charlotte and I were in the same book. We were both authors of Becoming an Unstoppable Woman in Finance. And that was, you're going to have to explain me the technicalities of it. I know you were part of the publishing team, I believe, but that it was published through She Rises. Is that correct?
Yes, with the She Rises team, they actually have their own publishing team now. Originally, with the first couple of books, Heart Center Women Publishing, which is my company, we actually published it, and now they have definitely started their own publishing house, and they are doing a ton of different books to really help women as well with growing their business and sharing their story, their voices at the same time as well.
Amazing. So in that one chapter of the book, you shared a little bit about your history with money And on the Real Money Show, one of the many reasons I started this show is that I like to get to the heart of what women are really thinking and how they're growing and making the shifts they need to in their lives. And in my coaching practice, we don't attach to our story, but we recognize that we all have a story. Yes. And we look at our stories from a place of, okay, here's where I've come from, but this doesn't have to be my story inevitably, that I can rewrite my story. So in that lane, I would love to get to know you as a woman in America. Where did you grow up? I know you're in South Carolina today, but do you mind taking us on the journey of, and we're about the same age. So I'm born in November. You're born in September of the same year. So, there's me here in Las Vegas, Nevada growing up. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in St. Stephen, very small town, St. Stephen, South Carolina.
Okay.
Probably had about 1,000 people lived there.
No shit.
Yes, absolutely. Very small town. And, really trying to find a job in such a small town, it was very hard to do. And so I always would have to drive about an hour and 30 minutes to the beauty salons that I was managing. And, by the time I would get off, of course, I would be so tired, but I would put in on an average of 80 plus hours a week.
Wow.
Being in corporate, managing multiple salons, traveling with the company to help grow the other salons in other different locations. And so just in order for you to make additional, we talk about, finances and thinking, especially with the pandemic going on, if you don't have like other income streams, if you're a hairstylist and all you knew when you were growing up, your parents told you, finish high school, go to college, get a job while you're in college. And so with that, it's like, well, what do you do to make additional ends meet? Mm-hmm. And so that's how I started, because being in that small town, it's like, well, Jesus, nothing here. But I love, the quiet, but I also love to go to the city and, shop. I'm sure like you do, Lisa, as well. And, mm-hmm. And so it's like, how can I then go online and try to see how I can make additional income streams? And so that's how I got started, because I was in a small town. My mom and dad always instilled in us, if you want to be somebody in the world, you need to get out and work. It's no sitting around the house doing nothing. And, life is too mm-hmm. short. You need to be a provider for your family. So that's how my journey as a high schooler, and then going to college while working on a job, that's where it all began for me.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Trident Technical College.
Okay.
In Moncks Corner, and then also in Charleston, South Carolina as well.
Gotcha. Okay. I know this is going to sound totally like obvious, but being from South Carolina, I don't hear your Southern draw like normally. Like, do people tell you that? I don't hear it.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me that. I don't know what it is.
I don't
why
either.
You don't hear the Southern voice.
It's like no big deal and totally stupid to acknowledge that. But yeah, you're still have you lived in South Carolina your whole life then?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I had to say that. My family's from Georgia.
Oh,
and you knew
okay.
They were from Georgia. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, you definitely will hear the accent in Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you grew up in a small town, and at what age did you move to Charlotte to go to school?
I moved. I'm right now. Well, I moved from St. Stephen to Somerville, where I'm currently residing.
Okay.
And because it was just, I wanted to build a community of women. I wanted to be around a community of women where we could support each other. And then that drive going back and forth from St. Stephen to, Charleston, or St. Stephen to Somerville, it just got to be like a bit, I would say it would have me antsy, if you will.
Yeah, I got you.
So, I wanted to have the convenience of meeting with women in person as well as virtually, and with me doing a lot of traveling, with the airport being like not even 15 minutes from my house, it just was convenient for me to live here in Somerville.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yes. So growing up, what was the conversation about money in your household? Now, like for so many of my guests, they'll say there wasn't a conversation, or their parents never spoke with them about it, or you touch on this in your book, which we'll come back to, is that there's this conversation of money and achievement, money and approval, money and agitation. What was your experience of that growing up?
Yeah, so for me growing up, because I have two siblings, a brother and a sister, I'm a middle child. And because they went into the military, my parents automatically, it's like, that's successful. They're going to make more money than I would make, just, going after my dream of, first being a cosmetologist and having my own salon, and then, my own publishing and all of that with the different businesses that I started. I got a lot of backlash on the journey, the path that I chose, because my mom and dad figured I would fail flat on my face because I wasn't going in the military. And so of course, that to me, I don't know about you, Lisa, but when someone tells me I'm not going to be able to achieve something, that just makes me go even harder. Like I just get, it's like, it just pushes me to do it even more. And be able to, show people that I can achieve this, even with people not believing that you can. So for my mom and dad, well, my dad, he always would work like over 40 hours a week. In fact, when he got laid off, it was like the company actually had them this dinner at work, and then they just said, well, oh, this is your last day. And he had worked there for 38 years.
Wow.
And then it's like, if my mom didn't have her own business, and because you have to wait for your retirement and all of that to kick in, but if she didn't have that I feel like with the money issue, like we wouldn't even be able to buy food, keep the lights on, or anything like that. So that's why I'm a big believer on having multiple streams of income, because it's important more now than ever for people to, and it's like, if you knew in advance, you would know to have multiple streams. But, we were taught that here's what we need to do. And it's like people aren't, they shun away from promoting entrepreneurship or business ownership, if you will, because they seen it as not being a stable stream of income. But it's quite the opposite, because nowadays, if you're on a job, that's not really a stable stream of income, because you can get called in like my dad did, and they could just let you go without notice. And so that's what I like to instill in everyone that's listening in. Like, think about the types of revenue streams that you can bring in, so that you can create this recession proof business, so that you can make a bigger impact, a bigger influence, and a bigger income than that you would on a regular job at the same time. And I'm a big believer of, yes, work on a job, but use that job as a tool to help you build legacy and build more of an impact, because after you're gone from this earth, then what will you have? Like, we have books that will go on, we have audio, podcasts like this that Lisa has, on her network, that you'll be able to let your grandchildren, your children, and other people hear more about what you have done and how you have impacted their lives at the same time. So
Agreed. I know one of the biggest gifts that was ever, that I can't say it was given to me, but to your point, if someone tells me I can't do something, like, game on, like, I'll show you.
Yes.
And I left corporate, my own version of corporate America, when I was 31. And I didn't know how to make money. I knew how to work hard for money.
Right.
I knew how to work hard for money, and learning how to make money. And for me, my biggest challenge was learning how to ask for money in my business, because that was connected somehow. And for women, we connect it to our worth.
Yes.
And as soon as I overcame that, and now, in this world of entrepreneurism for women, it's like, once you learn how to make money, the sky's the limit, but you have to learn how to make money. And as an employee, you almost never learn that skill unless you're in sales, potentially, right?
Absolutely.
So can we talk about your journey from corporate America to entrepreneurism?
Oh, absolutely.
There's a couple of pieces I want to make sure the audience gets to. I mean, you write about this in your books and your story, but let's talk about your journey on the show while we have you. Is that you were a single mom? When did that happen? When did you become a single mom?
I was a single mom since I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And one of the things, like I mentioned before, was I did not know anything about having these multiple streams of income. All I knew was work, spend, live paycheck to paycheck. Even though I was making six figures in corporate, it was like you're still living paycheck to paycheck, because it depends on your lifestyle that you have. And so at that same time, it's like, I had, my children, having that weight of, being a mom, working, in corporate 24/7, because if a hairstylist called out, I had to then go in and fill in the shift. That's how I wind up having 80 plus hours on an average per week.
Gotcha.
With working. And so luckily I had my mom and dad that could watch, at the time, my oldest, who's 26. But sometimes I would take her with me to work. Because of me not having the time off that I needed to in corporate, they would let me bring her with me. And, a lot of my regular clients, they would know her by heart because of her always being there with me, but she was always quiet. She, didn't make a fuss, but, not all, people are able to do that, nowadays, being in corporate like that. And so I got overworked in corporate, as a beauty salon manager and hairstylist. And my hands were bothering me like so bad one day after I got off. And so I called in and let them know that I wouldn't be able to come in the next day, at work, because I needed to go to the emergency room or contact my primary doctor. But when I got there for my primary doctor the next day, because I went to the emergency room, but they always recommend you go to your primary the next day if possible. So when I went there, he was like, Charlotte, sit down. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening to me? Like I was just so scared. And he was like, well, it looks like you need to change your profession. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, you have carpal tunnel, and with the work that you're doing, it's only going to make it worse than the more you keep, doing your hairstyles. Because on an average, I would do 20 clients per day
Wow.
with hairstyling, haircuts, hair color, all of that. Hair extensions, it takes longer, of course. And so with that, it's like I got diagnosed with that. I only had one, like I said, one hairstylist income coming in. And so I let them know that eventually I would be leaving, but I was willing to train, who was going to be taking over my position. And that's when the day I got diagnosed was when I said, you know what, it's time for me to get online and figure out how I can take my corporate skills and put it to work. So I started writing articles first, and then I started having a lot of different women. It started out in the beauty industry, and I formed my Hair Artists Association, which has like over 4,000 members right now. And then I kept having different women from different walks of life reach out to me because I was writing about, how to start your own, beauty salon, how to start your own business, just things that were trending in the business space, really to, really help them. Like if they were on the fence, just really help them to take action on moving forward, no matter what their, issue was in life, what challenge they were having or struggle. And so I did that, and a publishing company reached out to me and said, hey, you wrote such a great article on how to create a home-based beauty salon. And I was like, okay, well, thank you, like that. And they were like, well, how would you like to write a whole entire book about it? And we'll pay you a $3,000 advance, for you to, go ahead and write, this book. And, at the time I told my mom and dad about it. They was like, wow, that's great. You should do it. And I thought to myself, I said, yes, I could do it, but what if I launch my own publishing company, and then I'll have more control? Because I already did my research after getting that call that one of the biggest issues in the publishing space was that people, if they give you upfront money, you have to meet all of these demands like sales quotas and all of this and that. Not that I couldn't do it, but it's just the fact of having more control over the information that you're sharing. And I also felt that I would be able to impact better. So I decided to launch Heart Center Women Publishing while I was at the beauty salon and working in corporate. And then that's when I was able to use the publishing, helping other women. They started reaching out about publishing their books, publishing their articles. And then it just, the rest just kind of fell into place because they wanted to have consultation. They wanted to have coaching. And then I would have those, different sessions with them. And so then I would then work with them and say, hey, what type of book, based off of your business, what type of book do you want to create so that we can set you up to where your business is going to be recession proof. You're sharing a lot of value, and you'll have clients coming to you, I like to say, on autopilot instead, because it's better to have people coming to you versus you chasing them at the same time. And so with me doing that, that's how I was able to walk away from corporate and then started doing this full time, working with different women. And it's just been such an amazing experience, just being able to work with different women from all different walks of life.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Kudos to you for following, it sounds like just following your intuition.
Yes. Thank you.
So were you at any point, so can we time stamp some of these things just to understand the order? Because someone's listening going, okay, but how did this happen? Right. So you got the carpal tunnel diagnosis. What year was that? How young were you?
That was in the year 2000.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was able to stop working for corporate. It was like right at my 31 year old, So yes.
You were 31 and the
Yes.
universe was like, let's flip this around.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then you knew, how cool is that? You knew that you wanted to be in control of the narrative.
Absolutely.
And you use that opportunity. And I always like to reframe it back to the listener that you had an opportunity and then you flipped it and you used it to your advantage to say, no, let me take control of this. Let me move forward. And then women, which happens for successful women or women who just have drive, people are watching you. You don't even realize people are watching you. And all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, how did you do that? Because I want that too.
Absolutely.
And what was that? That was what, 2000 to today? That's when the journey started. When did you publish your first book?
I published it the same month that
really?
Yes.
In the same month?
Yes.
Holy cannoli. And that was on Amazon? How did you do that?
Yes.
On Amazon?
I went on Amazon and I was doing a lot of research, and then from Amazon with the publishing, with the different partnerships and everything, it allowed my book to get in Barnes and Nobles and Books A Million and all of like the major platforms. And then from there, just going and partnering up with other platforms and saying, hey, I'd like to see how we can collaborate together to get more exposure, more impact at the same time as well.
Wow. Okay, I have so many questions. In that process of leaving corporate America to becoming an author and then helping other women, what's one of the lessons that you take with you now into this new chapter of success? Because it's only getting better from the conversation we had before the show, even, which I want to talk about. But what were one or two of the lessons that you'll bring with you into this new next part of your life?
Have patience and be consistent, because it's important to do both.
So important. I have the honor and privilege of also being able to mentor young women in business or women in business that have come to me and said, hey, I see you and I don't want to be you, but I want to be like you. I want to do things that you're doing. How can you show me? Can you mentor me? Can you teach me? And I really love the thought of consistency. So for you, thinking about your journey, you're a single mom at 17 and you get a diagnosis that you can't continue your trade. So you shift gears into publishing, you begin to write, and then you take on your own publishing house, and you have 3 kids at some point along the way too. 3 more kids, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I have one natural born child and I have a 12-year-old stepson, and that was a lot of work. He's 15 today. Can you talk about your journey as a mom, and you homeschool your kids now too? Mm-hmm. I have so much respect. Like, wow, that to be, and at some point you weren't a single mom anymore. And there's so much that we can talk about, but my brain just consistency is the word, because none of that was easy. Being a business owner, starting your own publishing house, supporting other women, having this heart-centered business. Can you talk to the listener and walk your listener through this journey of your 20s and 30s of building this empire?
Oh, yeah. So thank you for that, Lisa. One of the things that a lot of people didn't know, because I had my parents, they were like, you need to do this, you need to do that. I went to school actually while I was working full time. I also was working, going to college full time. After getting my cosmetology license, I started going to school for medical assisting. And so that was like when my 17-year-old was 6. And so I actually found out I was pregnant when I was in college, going through the medical assisting. Okay. And still till today, I actually have 5 months. If I wanted to go back, I could have, but my heart is not. My heart is saying stay, that gut feeling, that intuition that you have. So I just always just kept going moving forward with that. And I always look for ways that would not be so much on my hands because of the carpal tunnel. So I stopped with the medical assistance and learning all of that terminology. You talk about stressful.
Yeah.
That was really, really stressful in between that. And so fast forward, I then a couple of years went by, and then that's when I had my now 12-year-old daughter, and then found out about 9 months later I was pregnant with my 11-year-old. So with my two youngest, they are the same age for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And so with my two oldest, they actually have the same birthday in April on the 20th. And they are literally like 10 years apart. I stopped counting, but the two youngest, they have like the same birth month, December 2nd and December 29th. So it's like with being a single mom, it's like you have to know, okay, these kids, they have to be school. I do homeschool. I have a very strict schedule that I work around. Of course, we do homeschooling 180 days. And then I put on these different, because I love to cook. That's my other thing that I love to do. Always hosting and doing things with family and friends. But it's like I have this schedule that I go by. I get up every morning, actually at 4 a.m. every morning. Mm-hmm. And some people may look at me like, I can't believe you get up at 4 a.m. because I try to get my meditation and workout in before I start my day. And because it's just important for me to start my day with that meditation, prayer, exercise. It helps, gives me more strength. Mm-hmm. And so working with, different personalities with the children, of course, different ones learn at a different pace. Mm-hmm. And so just doing all of that when it comes to the business and actually doing the homeschooling, it's like you have to have a consistent schedule. If an emergency comes up, of course, we go back and we're like, okay, we'll make it up on this day instead. Mm-hmm. And so with being a single mom, I think it's important for the women who are single and they maybe, they may have just one income. Think about ways that you're able to take what you already know, because we all have some skills that we have developed, and you can also take extra classes and courses nowadays online to learn something new, but just taking that and actually implementing, because so many people they're taking on all of this information, but they're not implementing. And it's like, it's so important to implement, especially from people who are, like you talked about, Lisa, that you mentor, young girls as well as women. It's like, it's important for you to implement what Lisa is sharing so that you can then get the results. If you don't implement what Lisa is sharing, then you can't get the results that you would and could be getting. And so it's just important for women to just understand that you must be able to make that commitment, and your why has to be bigger than just money itself, because my why is bigger than money. That's not why I get out of bed in the morning. It's like I'm motivated to help other people. And this is so much bigger than me in itself. So, that's just something to think about, because a lot of people start their businesses just for money, but it's like, what are you going to do with the money? It has to be something else that's driving you to get out of bed, to want more at the same time. Yes, money is great to have. It's a tool that you can use to get, whatever it is that you want, but it's like, it has to be something bigger than that for the reason that you want what you want.
I love that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
It's so important. It's so important. Can we lean into that a little bit more with that,
Sure.
with the money part of it and your why? I talk about your why a lot in my world also. I know you do too. I read that also. You talked about that in your chapter of becoming an unstoppable woman in finances. You've got to be found at, like, have a foundation of what your why is. That will bring you home every single time. When you get off track, you come back to your why. For money, and thinking about your money journey from going from corporate America, working a lot, to shifting gears to publishing, what have you learned about, well, what did you know about money, and what have you had to learn about money on your journey?
Well, early on, like from my parents, they did, of course, mention about, put it in the bank, put it in the bank, put it in the bank. But it's like early on, after all of them, put it in the bank, it's like, is this money working for me? Mm-hmm. Is it, creating other income streams? Is it, it's like my parents weren't even taught to, like, create this diverse portfolio with real estate, buying land, building online real estate, at the same time. So it's like, if you're just letting your money just sit in the bank, I mean, it's like, you got to have some type of diverse portfolio besides it just sitting in the bank.
Yes. Yes. And what was that journey like for you? Having, I know owning a business is such a big learning curve, understanding business financials versus personal financials, having your business pay you personally. What are some of the lessons that you've learned about that along the way as you've continued to climb?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. Along the way, I used to just, not pay myself first. And so I started paying myself first once I got, of course, mentors and coaches that say, hey, you're supposed to pay yourself first, and, it's also important to have money set aside in different, we talked about the different, we talked about banks. Well, you need to have like different bank accounts set up, don't commingle your personal stuff with your business stuff. And if you have multiple businesses, you don't want to commingle those either. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have to have these different accounts set up for the different things that you're doing at the same time as well.
Agreed. That's such a powerful lesson. That's one of the first things that we talk about with new business owners is you've got to pull it apart. You've got to start separating it and seeing it as separate. And if you're not, it's so confusing if you're not, this, at the end of the year in particular, but then how do you know if one business is really successful or not, or mm-hmm. if you can really support yourself or not? It's a powerful lesson. What would you say? So you, thinking about where you're at today in your journey today, what are you thinking about? So we're both 43.
Yes.
What are you thinking about for this next, like for the rest of your 40s? What are you working toward?
Just making more, building more legacy, like continuing, like one of the things that we're doing with our inner circle, Wealthy Women Inner Circle, is like, we want to have more women in there. We're creating a diverse portfolio where they can invest in different commercial properties as well as residential properties as well, so they can start building a diverse portfolio. Mm-hmm. And of course, we have our own travel division now that will be, of course, sharing more about really? That. Yes. Yeah. Because we have these mastermind retreats and these different conferences. And so we wanted to have our own space where women could also say, but if they want to bring their family and create like a family vacation, they can write some of the business aspect off and have a little personal family fun at the same time as well. So we was able to partner up with this guy who actually used to do timeshare, mm-hmm. And he created his own company and was very successful with it. So now we've partnered up with them, and we have our own travel division now that I'm so excited about, because also it's an opportunity for us to bring additional careers for those who want to, say, be a part of our team but work independently, and have their own business from it, especially if they're like me and you, Lisa, who love to travel.
Mm-hmm. I do. My parents growing up, we did get out of the house, but it was mostly locally. So we'd go to California to see my family, or we'd go to the mountains in Utah. That was pretty much the extent of what we did as a family. And as soon as I could, like starting in fourth grade, I was like, where can I go? And what can I do? And I've traveled so much, and my husband now, that's his passion too. And that's one of the first things when I ask women, what do you want? They want freedom, and freedom to
Yes.
do what they want,
Yes.
and travel to see the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you
That's
can't,
it right there, Lisa.
if you're wealthy or you're building wealth and you can't
Mm-hmm.
also travel or have the freedoms that you want or the experiences that you want, what are you doing? What are we
Exactly.
doing? Right?
Yes.
What does wealth mean to you?
Wealth means to me, that's such a great question. It means, like you said, doing what I want, when I want, how I want. No time, no time frame of people saying, hey, you got to clock in at 9 and get off at 5.
Mm-hmm.
No more. With me working all in corporate, putting in all of those hours, it was like, no, I would never be chained to the chair anymore, behind the salon chair, behind the office chair,
Mm-hmm.
when I walked away from corporate. And that's one of the main things I've seen, just women that I'm working with. They were, chained to the chair. They're currently chained to the chair, and they don't know how to get away from it. And they come to us, you and I, Lisa, to then help them to get from that and be able to have that more freedom, more fun, more travel, more wealth, more abundance. So that's what I love.
I know you're really championing, you're really paving, like, you're like, let's do this. What I love so much about you is you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for so many other women to say, let's do this together.
Yes, I love that.
Grow together. Let's share our stories together. Can we lean into authorship?
Yes, absolutely.
So there's a lot of women, and I really, I love this show for so many reasons, and the fact that women can just come on and share their stories and realize, like, everyone has a story.
Yes,
everyone has a story. And you said something, I think, before the show started about how if you don't share your story with others, others can't benefit and rise in that way by hearing your story. Your story matters so much. What have you been able to see with your you said 1,000 books you've published?
Yes.
What have you been able to hear and see of your authors?
Well, they've been able to, of course, the number one thing is walking away from their job and being able to do this, full time, being able to spend more time with their family, and being able to support other people in their industries at the same time, and being able to help them share their stories in a very powerful way, building more legacy at the same time as well.
Right. So they're building legacies. What does that really mean? What does that mean for some of the women, legacy? Because I think some women, they conceptually get it. I know what it means for me, but what does that mean for you in your world?
It means having something that will live on beyond you being here on earth. So that's what it's like. Their biggest thing, having something, leaving their family with something, leaving their communities with something, leaving their friends with something that they can continue, like even with a business, letting that business live on while you're no longer here, like putting a plan in place to have that continue. Like if something were to happen, to us, that we're able to have it live on, so that's huge.
What would you say to the woman who desperately wants to publish, but she's scared?
I would definitely say, let's go let's go ahead and schedule a time with me, because I want to see what's holding you back, what's keeping you stuck. And it's really important, again, to get your message out, your story out. And so I would want to get more clarity on what's holding you back, from moving forward. And if money is an issue, that can't be an issue either. Right. So definitely, I would say you got skills. There's ways for you to make it happen.
There is. And I think one of the common misperceptions is that it's going to cost you a fortune. Mm-hmm. And I know in your world, you've made it incredibly accessible. And with the She Rises movement, also, they've made it incredibly accessible, where it is so worth the investment. Like you're not just spending money, you're really investing in yourself in a way that will return on its investment over and over and over again. I even just by your confidence level, by willing to invest in the process of sharing. One of my coaches, Lexi, is going to be in the new Becoming an Unstoppable Woman, Introverted Professionals, I think. What is the title of that one? Do you remember? What's the title of that book? Do you remember?
I not right off the top. No, yeah. I don't.
It's like becoming an unstoppable introvert, basically, for women. And
yes.
She's so excited. It's like that first step to say, you know what? I'm here.
Yes.
You know what? I matter. What I have to say, other people want to hear. And at the end of the day, I think really the only person that's holding us back is us.
Absolutely. I agree. And believe it or not, I'm glad you brought that up. It is the introverted. Adriana is actually creating that. It's like with Adriana, and I believe it's 4 or 5 other women that'll be a part of that. And so believe it or not, I'm an introvert, but I love people. So it kind of like goes away.
And you need a nap after the day.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's like if you have like those conferences that we have, it's like, ladies, I will be back in an hour.
Yes. I'll be back.
Recharge.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I can't believe we already have only 4 minutes till close. And usually at this time of the conversation, I like to hand it over to you. First of all, I want to have you share all the amazing things that you're up to this year. So if women want to join your world and become a part of your world, they'll know how, what you have coming up, so they can think about where they can plug in. So let's start there. What do you have going on this year that others can be a part of?
Wow. I like to direct everyone to go to the Wealthy Women Inner Circle, because in there, our Facebook group, you will be able to get co-authoring opportunities with us, co-creating coaching programs or courses, software. Where right now, I did talk about writing with AI, that we'll be sharing workshops that we'll be doing with that as well. And so we have like different speaking opportunities, everything. So just being in the inner circle, you're able to collaborate with like-minded women, including myself.
I love that about you. I am in the inner circle on Facebook, and you're championing women all day long in that group. Like, hey,
thank you.
Let us know who you are. Hey, share it out. It is so abundant. You are so abundant, and you're bringing women together really in a collective and powerful way. And I'm really grateful for the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for the amazing work you're doing.
Thanks. Let's keep doing it together.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. With 2 minutes to close, what's on your heart to share with our listeners today?
If you're sitting on the fence about following your dream and wanting to build a successful and profitable business, definitely take action and move forward.
Take action. You do not mince words, Charlotte. You're like, let's just do the thing.
Yes, let's do it. Like Ashley mentioned.
That's right. That's right. Well, if you're looking for someone to champion you, I believe that, Charlotte, you're one of those women where you're walking the talk. You're creating wealth for yourself. You're creating wealth and legacy for other women. And on the Real Money Show, it really is a treat to have you here so that other women can hear that whatever they want, whether they went to hairstylist school. We have a lot of women actually who started with where you started, and they're looking at their lives, and we'll be sharing those stories throughout the rest of the year. But we can do this, and we're stronger together. That's another thing that I'm hearing from you and the way that you collaborate is that you don't have to do it alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Yeah. More to come.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Charlotte. We will share the show notes out so you'll know how to get a hold of Charlotte. And wherever you're listening, however you're listening, we have got some really amazing guests coming up this month. And well, it's almost February. I have a treat. My husband, Jimmy's going to be on the show on the 13th of February, celebrating Valentine's Day. We're going to talk about our journey. Charlotte, I got divorced in 2017 and now remarried. So we're going to talk about bringing our lives together and all the things that have come with that. But as a listener, you know that I am just so grateful that you're spending this time with us. I really hope that you learn from Charlotte and that you are feeling motivated to move forward, to take action, because you can do it. Thanks for listening to Real Money, and I guess you'll hear us next time. Bye, everyone.